So you just got an email from Google that says your Google business profile is suspended. You don't know what it means or what happened, but you know it's bad. And now folks in your local community can't find you because your profile is invisible. Last month, I turned an attorney's profile suspension into a reactivated account in less than 5 days with this exact strategy. So pay attention, huh? The first thing you need to do is stop. Stop panicking, stop worrying, and no matter what, stop poking around in your profile aimlessly, changing a bunch of stuff simply because you can, hoping that you're going to find that magic button that turns the profile back on. That's like knowing you need to lose weight, so you switch from Coke to Diet Coke and from meat lovers pizza to veggie lovers, but you're still eating a large pizza every night. Taking action and doing the wrong thing isn't going to help. You need targeted action that works. And that's what Uncle Cappy is going to give you, okay? In the next 12 minutes or so, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step process to get your profile reactivated. What to check, what to fix, the supporting docs that you need to gather, how to file the appeal, and what to do if that initial appeal is rejected. Step one is to identify the problem and triage fast to stop the bleeding. Now, a hard suspension is when your profile is completely invisible from search and maps. And if you can't see it, neither can prospective clients. That's bad, and that's what we're going to fix in this video. The first thing you need to do is look at the email from Google again and note the reason for the suspension. In nearly every profile that I've worked on, the reason shows deceptive content. That tells you absolutely nothing, right? Google thinks there's something in your profile that either intentionally or accidentally does not comply with their guidelines. And to be fair, most of the time they're right. But sometimes they just need some proof that the way you present your business in your profile does comply with their rules. So your next step is to run a fast deceptive content check to make sure your profile is compliant, and if necessary, to make any of the changes to bring it in line. Here's how. First, make sure the name listed on your profile is exactly the name registered with your state, on your logo, your website, and your signage out front. Too many business owners want to stuff their profile name with service or location keywords. And this is the number one reason profiles get suspended for deceptive content. Let's look at the Home Depot as an example, okay? There are over 2,000 Home Depot locations across the US, but every one of their GBPs have the exact same name, the Home Depot, not the Home Depot Phoenix or the Home Depot, your local home improvement warehouse. Now, that's not to say that you can't include service and location keywords in your name like this guy did. But to do this and to not eventually get suspended requires that you file a DBA or a trade name within your state. This means you file a document with your local authorities that says the legal name you want to do business under is the one that includes those extra keywords. Google requires businesses to use their legal name on their profile, and you'll need to prove that you're legally operating under that exact name or the profile will stay suspended. Oh, and before you run out and file that DBA or trade name certificate, you'll also need to change your logo, your website, and signage out front to exactly mirror that name. For this guy, I checked his website and there's no reference to this keyword stuff name. Now, I don't know this business and I protected their full name here, but I do know that even if he filed a DBA to use that exact name, he can still get suspended because his logo and website don't also match that exact name. And Google is cracking down on this hard. It's not a matter of if you'll get caught cheating anymore, it's a matter of when. Oh, and just because you've always had a profile name that broke the rules isn't an excuse anymore. Google is suspending more and more businesses for name violations. I see it every single week. Next up, check the address on your profile. The address must be a real address and really staffed during your normal business hours. Now, you used to be able to get away with shared office spaces or UPS store type places They give you a street address instead of listing your home address, but not anymore. Google requires your address to be staffed by your employees, not workspace employees, during normal business hours. Now, this has always been the case in Google's guidelines, but they're finally enforcing their own rules. Even if you had a shared workspace address forever, if you've been suspended and nothing else changed and you're using shared office space or a postbox provider, this is why. If it's legit, Google will require you to prove that you have your people staffing an actual office with your branding outside on the building and on the workspace door and your private office. And those have to be in place before the profile will be reactivated. Bottom line, if you don't take walk-ins during business hours listed in your profile, then hide the address and set service areas, or start looking for an actual address to use. Next up to check is a little bit tricky. Google flags a profile if there are multiple businesses at the same address. There are exceptions to this, such as being located in a strip mall with only one street address and then multiple suite numbers. If this describes your business, then you can prove your business is at an address with pictures from the street, of your signage, and video verification that you have access to the building. Alternately, you can edit your profile to show your business as located in whatever group address is. It would take too long to go over this in this video, so just do a quick Google search for GBP located in address guidelines, and that'll get you the information you need to get that corrected. If your business has multiple profiles in neighboring towns, make sure those service areas don't overlap. Each GBP must have distinctly different service areas. Next up, check your primary and secondary categories. Claiming to be an Italian restaurant and a plumber in the same profile can get you suspended, as can trying to run 2 or 3 different businesses out of the same GBP. There should be no conflicting categories or services in your profile. If you have multiple businesses, each needs its own GBP. The last thing to check for most likely reasons for deceptive content is making sure only authorized and trusted people or agencies are allowed to edit your GBP. Let's face it, there are some shady people out there, and sometimes GBP changes are made accidentally and result in a suspension, but sometimes it's also malicious. So go in and remove access from agencies or past employees that you may have forgotten about. And I'm added to profiles all the time that have old agency vendors still listed as managers, just like this one. Finally, as a caveat, there are other reasons you may get deceptive content suspension, and this page here points them out. Take a screenshot now or wait until the end of the video, and I'll keep it up a little bit longer so you can grab that information then. Okay, now that the issues have been identified and hopefully resolved, step 2 of the strategy is to build proof for the appeal. You need to assemble the documentation that proves your business is real and legally operating under the right name at the right location. Once you file your appeal, you'll only have 60 minutes to submit these documents, so make sure you have them all ready before you file the appeal. Here's what you're going to need: an appropriate government registration or license that exactly matches your GBP name and address. And you're also going to need at least 2 of the following documents, and 3 or 4 is even better if you can get them: a tax or insurance certificate, a recent utility bill like gas, electric, internet, phone, an exterior photo with permanent signage and the building number visible, interior photos that show real work and management. If you travel to a customer's home, add a picture of your branded vehicle, tools, or job documents like invoices, business cards, anything that matches your name, address, and your service area. It's best to use recent documents from the last 60 to 90 days whenever possible, but make sure all proof that you submit shows the full legal name and address that exactly matches what you say on your GBP. Did you catch that? Most denied appeals are because you didn't listen to what I just said. So I'm going to say it again. Make sure all proof that you submit shows the full legal name and address that exactly matches what you say on your GBP. Great. You've checked and corrected your profile. You've gathered your proof documentation. Now we're ready to file that appeal. So go back to the email from Google that notified you of the suspension and click that button at the bottom to access the appeals tool. You will need to be logged into the account that manages the profile before doing this. Here's where you'll get that confirmed. Once you get to the appeals tool, save that URL to your computer or write it down. You can come back to this page to check the status of your appeal if it's taking too long. Now, follow the prompts and enter your information and the proof docs. At the end of the form, there's a field where you can add additional information. Do not add emotion or please or insults or anything extra. It's not personal. Enter a short, logical description of what you did to fix the violation. I have a sample down in the video description of what you can say. Once you've completed the appeal, you'll be directed to upload supporting documents. Since you've already gathered them, you're ready to go. You only have 60 minutes to attach these to the appeal. If you miss that window, your appeal will be denied and you start over. That's it. You'll get an email with a confirmation number to prove your appeal has been filed. But how long does an appeal take, you ask? Google states that appeal reviews and decisions can take up to 5 business days, but the actual time frame can be longer due to factors like the volume of appeals that they have to go through or the complexity of your case. As a general rule, though, 5 business days is about right. But remember what I told you earlier, to save the URL, if you want to check the status of the appeal, go back to the appeals tool and check there. For most of you, if you follow these steps, that's all you're going to need. Within about a week or so, you'll be notified that the appeal was approved. Congrats. Keep in mind that it may take up to 2 additional business days after reinstatement for your profile to actually be visible again, but it's usually just a few hours in my experience. Now, for some of you, you're not out of the woods yet. Google frequently denies appeals if you missed something or if the documents you attached were illegible or didn't support your exact business name and address. If your appeal is denied, you can request additional review by going to this URL. But make sure you fix what's broken first. You only get 2 chances at this. Once fixed, you'll only need to submit new evidence that fixes the exact reason quoted in the denial email. Now, can I ask you for a favor? When you're reactivated, first take a moment to celebrate. You've been through a lot. But then, will you come back here and drop a comment on this video to let us all know how long the reactivation took? Why? Because other business owners that watch this later will appreciate your feedback, and they can use your experience to plan their own return to visibility. Lastly, one of the reasons you probably panicked when your profile was suspended was because you know how important the GBP is for local visibility and attracting new clients. So now that you're visible again, you should subscribe and follow this channel to get what you really need: tips and tricks to get better visibility and more phone calls that lead to more booked jobs. Peace.